Since the last video, I had another look at the Chinese crash bar mounts for those auxiliary lights that I got off of Amazon. I was still concerned about the fitment on the crash bars where they would be so close to the tank fairings. If the bike were to go down and the crash bars were to deflect a bit as they should be designed to do, then most likely those mounts would damage the front fairing. So I really I thought long and hard about this because I really didn't want to spend $83 on the Denali crash bar mounts. But that's what I ended up doing. I went and I bought the Denali mounts and I returned the Amazon mounts. So they come in a box like this. It says Denali auxiliary light crash bar, 22 to 28 millimeter crash bar diameter. And this is what they look like. They come with some screws, 83 bucks. 83 bucks, and it's no better quality than the Chinese crash bar mounts that I bought off of Amazon. I can guarantee you that. And one of the things that I find with the Denali mounts, and I've done this many times, is the threads in the part when you screw in the screws here. It's very easy to strip the threads on the screws or on the mounts. So material is very soft, just like the Chinese stuff. It's probably made in China. You know, if you look on this thing here, you probably find it's, yeah, there's a CN here. So it's all Chinese. But anyway, I went ahead and I got these. And one of the things about this is that the width of this is about 1 inch, right? And the width of the Amazon mount is about almost twice as much. So you're putting a big blob of aluminum on these crash bars, and the width of it alone pushes it closer to the curvature of that front fairing. Here we have it. I've test fitted this one on the right side, and you can see I've got about a ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch clearance right here. So I think that this is probably the best position to put this thing in. I could slide it down a little bit. There is a little piece of this stock mount here underneath here. Oh, actually there's the grommet where the wire passes through. So you can't go too far down this way. So this is about the best location. And I picked that location because when you put the other light here, it'll be just above the standard fog lights. And so it'll look, you know, one light on top of the other. And to an oncoming or to a car in front, it'll just look normal. You know, it's going to be fine. The beauty about this mount and all of these Denali mounts is that it has a rotating, you know, arrangement here, whereby this can rotate so that you can get this level. So you've got more adjustability. Of course, this rotates about the bar, and then this rotates for, you know, about the horizontal axis so that this is flat. So that's great. I'm going to put some black tape, electrical tape, on the crash bars underneath where this is going to clamp on so that it doesn't mar the finish too much, and then continue with installation. I've gone ahead and removed the side panels on the tanks. Just undo a couple of screws, one here and one down here, and just pull this panel up and back. I've also gone ahead and removed the trays underneath the seats. So this tray is for the manual or whatever, and this tray here is for the phone. I removed those and set them aside, and now the problem is to fit the controller, and that's going to be the hardest part of this job. I think running the wires will be simple. You just run them along this rail here, go through here somehow, and then fish it through the front, and then you have your light right here. I know a lot of you would be thinking, oh, why don't you just take out the stupid trays? Nobody uses them. I use them. And well, I don't use the phone tray, so that's the easier one to delete. But the thing is, the phone tray has the hinge for the front tray. So, you know, yeah, it'll be a kind of a pain to have that. And there's not a lot of room underneath this phone tray for the controller. But I've got to go ahead and see. I have not even unboxed that controller, so I don't know how long the wires are, and that's going to determine where the controller. I keep calling it a CAN Smart, but like I mentioned before, it is not a CAN Smart controller. This time I went with the Hex ezCAN system, so I've got the Hex ezCAN controller here, and I'm Tagus or Tagus, however you pronounce that, for Triumph bikes. And yeah, this is the B6. B6 should be straightforward. I don't know how long the wire is for the B6 because that also will have an impact on where the controller goes. Like I said, never even opened these things yet. Got some instructions there. Start configuring your ultimate adventure with ezCAN. 1, upgrade to the latest firmware, ezCAN, blah, blah, installation details. Looks like installation details are online, and I don't like that. With Denali, you get all the installation details on a piece of paper. And a piece of paper works a heck of a lot better in a garage than online. You know, so I'll have to go and print that off and then come back in here and install the thing. So it comes nicely packaged in a neat little package. Okay, fine. So far, so good. This is the beast. Looks very similar to the Denali CAN Smart because guess what? They're kind of made by the same company. Hex Innovate. So this is the length of the wire. So, okay, unlike the BMW, where you've got to kind of piggyback onto one of the existing circuits, this goes straight into the OBD2 port. And these cables are what you connect to your circuits. And they're kind of short, but they're stiff. And the length of this wire to the battery, as well as this wire to the OBD2 cable, is what determines the radius for where this thing is going to be installed. Comes with some more, oh my God, there's a whole bunch of fittings in here. And there's little bits and pieces I can see. Little bits and pieces in there as well. I don't know what they are. See? Can you see that? Little bits and pieces there. So you've got some additional connectors, stickers. There's 3 of these things here that I can see right off the bat. So there's 3 connectors here. 3 of these little pieces. Oh, I see. Insert blanking seal to use as a 2-wire. So if you're going to connect it as a 2-wire, you need these two little things here if you're going to, depending on your type of connection. I've got to read the instructions. Useless. I don't care about stickers. Right, so you've got these wires here. I expect, and they're shipped with a whole bunch of zip ties as well. So these connectors may or may not be needed. I don't know what this is for. So let's see. Maybe there's some instructions here. No, advertisements. This is marketing. Don't need this. Next thing to unbox is this. So I expect, it says here, includes 2-spot and 2-spot hybrid lenses in selective yellow. So let's see what we got here. Empty box. Hybrid, spot, hybrid. So yeah, that's what we've got here. Brilliant, brilliant. So if I need to drive with 1 spot and 1 hybrid, I go with these 2 here. And I think we'll see how that goes. But the lights themselves, they come with 1 each. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to test it with the clear lenses before I install these selective yellows. I don't particularly want selective yellow in the night. So that's for a separate video, put it that way. All right, let's go on to the next thing to unbox, which is this. So the bundle that comes from a bike thing includes this ezCAN extension cable kit. And let's see what's inside of that. To get from the lights to the controller, I need to run these wires. And okay, interesting. One small wire. These two look the same. All right. You get some fittings here. It looks now. Wow. It's a whole bunch of these connectors, and it's a universal kit, right? So depending on the bike type that you have, you might need these extra bits. But I don't know. You'll see. I guess there's another installation. Maybe it's all part of that scan code that I've got to scan. For more information, view about the ezCAN. ezCAN. So this is just information. Unlike the other, the controller box, this one doesn't have any scan codes for installation. This is going to be fun. I can tell. Last thing to open or unbox is this part of the bundle. Of course, the other part of the bundle was the lights, and I kind of unboxed this the last time. Get this out of the way. But just to reiterate, in each one of these D3 boxes comes this, the hybrid lens. It comes this with this connector, and it comes with the lamp itself. The lamp comes with this bolt, nut, lock nut, and a washer, and this nice cap that goes on the end of the nut. So comes pre-fitted with a spot lens. So that was covered before. I don't need to go over that again. Just for completeness, this here is a B6 brake light adapter cable. So it's a little adapter cable here. I believe I used that in my RS. And see, with the Denali, you get all the instructions. And there's the license plate, B6 light, and there's the fittings that ships with it. So that's simple and straightforward, neatly packaged, perfect. The next phase of this project would be to install the CAN Smart controller. So you've got to forgive me if I keep referring to the controller as a CAN Smart controller, because that's what I've been accustomed to for the last 8 years. 8 years? Is it 8 years since I've had that RS? Yeah, it's 8 years. So there's the battery, right? So the controller can go as far back as here. There is my OBD2 connector. So I've just got that tucked off to the side here. So this is as far back as it'll go. I was thinking of maybe putting it onto here, but the problem with putting it onto there is you'll have all of this wiring to deal with. You see, if I put it here, I'll have all this wiring that's going to be piled up here. Whereas if I put it all the way back here, somehow, you know, the wire will be kind of like stretched out. Now, the other problem then would be, would I have enough wire with that kit to go all the way to the front? And that's the other concern. Should be a straightforward installation, though. I shouldn't need all of those additional pieces. Based on my previous installations, I mean, those extension wires have got these 3-wire connectors on it. So Let's go back here. These are all 3-wire connectors. So it looks like that would be a nice straightforward connection. But I don't think I'll need these bits. Biggest problem is a problem of my own making. Keeping those trays in place. Well, I went ahead and I printed off a copy of the instructions. The instructions are nothing but a website, or a web page, I should say. So it's not properly formatted for the printer. I've made a PDF file, and I'm going to consider whether I should reformat that PDF file to make it more easily, laid out, properly laid out, and more printer friendly. And I'll put it in a link in the description of this video. Hopefully I can do that. Okay, one of the things that I discovered while reading the instructions is that this thing here, the CAN controller, comes with a default connection to the OBD2 connector for 2020 to 2023 bikes. 2024 bikes have a Euro 5 connector, which is a red type connector like this. So this is part of the ezCAN kit. You've got this here that you can plug in. If you've got a 2024, plug it into the CAN controller here, and there you go. You use that for the 2024 models. Of course, you've got to unplug this piece that comes stuck in here by default. What they do supply also is this Y connection here. This Y connector is the preferred way to connect it to the 2023 and earlier, 2020 to 2023 bikes with a Bluetooth module fitted. Mine has a Bluetooth module fitted, so I'll use this Y connector, and you connect it and split it off following the instructions. And the reason why they prefer to use this connection is because it's a more secure connection here. Whereas if you use the OBD2, there is no, clip or no way to secure the connectors together. You'd have to kind of like bind them together. And then the other downside to that is when you want to plug in, for example, your dealer tool or some other tool like that, then you've got to unhook, and whereas in this kind of connection here for my bike, it'll still have the OBD2 port or connector loose and ready for diagnostic action. The instructions also suggest a location to fit this thing. So we'll see how it goes. But I did confirm that extension connector set that I got, the extension cable kit, that's a good kit because it comes with this hugely long wire that I think it would run all the full length of the bike. So there's plenty wire to go from wherever you locate that CAN Smart connector to the front to the lights. So that's a good thing to bear in mind. So what I'm going to do now, what they say first to do is, and I think it's a good approach, is to hook this thing up to the Bluetooth module and then hook this thing up to the battery. Of course, you're going to kind of settle in your mind where you're going to locate this blob. After you could get that hooked up, then you do a dry connect. Connect all your accessories to these plugs here, and get the latest firmware, of course. Make sure everything's working, and that's before you actually run wires. And I think that that's a good thing to do. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and try and stick this in on the bike, and I'll walk you through what I did after I do it. I'm not going to do it while I'm doing it because, hey, I'm learning as I'm going on this bike here. And this bike is much less friendly to installing stuff like this than the RS. The RS had a bit more room, I think. This bike is a little bit more tight, so I've got to go and take time to do this. So this is the Bluetooth module. I've managed to pull this forward a bit, and I can't remember how the heck it goes back. So it's kind of like loose-ish there. But anyway, that's the connector there. I made the Y connection to the CAN Smart controller, and I can stuff those wires. There's a little bit of a hole down there, so maybe I can stuff the whole CAN Smart controller down there as well. But anyway, it came on, and now it's gone to sleep, so that's fine. We're going to turn the bike on, and I expect to get the warning icon now, because the time and date has got to be set again. So let that settle down, and it probably give me a wrench. Yeah, there's the wrench. So now I've got to go and reset the date. So I offline I reset the date and the time, just to double check. And there's no indicator, no wrench indicator, so everything is good. It had reset the date to 2000, so all right, turn that back off. Now this was lit, and it's still lit before it goes to sleep. So the next phase of this installation is to connect up the peripherals that I'm going to be installing on this bike, to just do a test fit. I've still got everything pulled apart. Here's my Thunderbox connectors, and yeah, and OBD2 and my seat connectors are all pulled to the side. Now I don't have a SoundBomb to install, because don't forget I installed that SoundBomb Mini underneath here, and it's been working great so far. I mean, I haven't seen anybody jump out of the way, you know, startle out of their wits, but that's the SoundBomb Mini. It is not as loud as the real SoundBomb. I've got the lights hooked up. Red circuit to the right side, R for red, R for right. Blue circuit on the left. And if I remember correctly, this yellow circuit here, I think, you see there's no instructions. These instructions here don't tell me what, you know, the peripheral is, just for the CAN Smart controller. And the B6 instructions don't tell me anything about the connections. All right, so they're all hooked up. Straight out of the box, plugged in. Let's see. Turn it on. Looks like B6 is on. Now these guys are not on. And that's probably because they got to be configured a certain way. But at least this one is on. So why isn't this on? These circuits are correct. The long ones anyway. So maybe the CAN Smart has got to be set up, and I don't know the controls for switching the lights on. So maybe they're off by default. It would have been nice to be on by default, but anyway, they're off by default. So with the lights not coming on, I hooked up the computer. I already had the ezCAN software on the computer, because I've got it on the RS. And initially, the software comes up, it says auxiliary lights are off. So they're off by default, and you can't turn them on. Auxiliary lights 1, which would be the red and the blue circuit. I've got them at 50% on low beam and 100% on high beam. And all the settings are turned on. So as you can see, they're on. So they're on. Of course, the B6 is on. Let's see what happens when I turn on the high beam. Yeah, high beams are on. They're at 100%. 50% when they're on low beams. Activate the brakes for the B6. Oh my God, that thing is bright. So all systems are go. Switch that off. These lights go off pretty much immediately as the B6, and everything is quiet again. So I've got the B6 mounted on the license plate with the supplied screws and nuts, but I had to take them off, take the license plate off, because I want to do a neat installation. Behind the license plate, I've passed the wire through the bracket of the license plate holder. I'm going to drill a hole here. And after I drill a hole here, I'll be able to pass this connector through, and then up and underneath there into the rear of the under the passenger seat. Okay, so this is back installed again, and there is the hole that I drilled, and I just tucked that wire up there for now. Ran it up here, came through here, all the way back here, and it's hooked up to the CAN Smart. So the next thing to do is to run these long wires from this area to the front. Once we get that done, then I'm going to put the tape on this, install the mounts, and then install the lights. So the wires are run. Left side actually was easier. Got the wire run all the way loosely through there. Oh, looks like a kink. That's okay. And then it comes out to the front. Same thing on the other side. Again, underneath here, I'm going to neaten up this back end in the, after I'm done, when I connect it up to the ezCAN. Through here, and again, let's see, comes out underneath there by the water bottle. So we're going to neaten that up somehow. I don't know if I'm going to do that. Similarly on this side, got it coming out there. But anyway, right now what I'm doing is I've marked off equidistant measurements from left and right. So this is where I've got to put the tape. Well, it so happens that I was able to run the wires up underneath here fairly neatly, I think. I don't know why this one's sticking down a bit. This one looks a little bit better. Probably going to neaten them up just a little bit. But anyway, I passed the wires up from the front here. Wires are not hidden in the crash bar like in the original lights, but anyway. So they're up there, bundled up with the rest, and then passed back and stored beneath here. Because this extra wire there's a lot of wire there. So I had to store it in there on both sides. And it comes out here, passes onto here. I passed the left side over onto the right because the CAN Smart is right here. And it so happens that I can stuff everything down there. There's a little bit of space down here by the Bluetooth module, which is this. So I was able to stuff everything down. And that closes. As you can see, I've got the back. This is done. So the seats are ready to go back in. And yeah, everything went back together fairly well. We've got to aim the lights because I just put them on. And as you can see, they're kind of cockeyed. Of course, the bike is on the center stand right now. Here's the B6. The bike is on the center stand right now. And so what I'm going to do is turn it around and face my garage door here. I've got this tape on the ground here that I use for aiming lights, and so I'll just make sure that they're pointed straight, and I'll lock them down. I'll tighten them up. We're going to check the aim of the lights now with me on the bike, and I've got my helper. All right, so you can see we've got a cockeyed pattern here. So what I've got there is two very, very focused spotlights. So I'm probably going to put the hybrid lens on one side and, and see how it goes. But I want to see how that goes if I get flashed. Finally got it done. So the aim is checked. And right now, like I said, I've got it on the spot lenses. I fully intend to switch over one of them over to the hybrid lens, see how that works. And then I'll change it over probably to the selective yellow and ride around with that and see how that works. I do most of my riding in the day. When I'm going touring, maybe I'll switch them over from selective yellow to white because, I mean, I could be riding in the night, but I'd have to see how I like the selective yellow in the night. It's better for visibility, there's no doubt. But yeah, the installation wasn't too bad. The most difficult thing was, of course, to find a location for the ezCAN controller. And that turned out to be not too bad in the end because I just stuffed it wherever. And it's a decided battery compartment, and it seems to be fine. It's not interfering with anything. Um, I got my tray back installed, so the bike is standard looking again underneath the seats, and that's fine. I like how they look above the fog lights, and with the fog lights on, that's a lot of lights. There's no doubt. But the proof of whether I'm being seen better will come when I actually take the bike for a ride. But so far, I'm very pleased. Installation was really easy, like on the computer, because I'm accustomed to it. One of the things that I've got to mention, I'm going to mention it now. These lamps come with the screw and the nut oriented the same way. So in both cases, I had the head of the bolt on the inside, this on this side, and then the bolt on this side. So the same thing on this side. On this side, it's fine because you want the head, as you can see, it's a hex head. You want the head facing out because your screwdriver is going to be there, and a little wrench is going to be on this side, it's a 10 millimeter. But if you've got it with the head on this side, access is hard. So what I had to do was to switch it around and put the head on the left side, the head pointing from the outside, pointing inwards, and the nut on the inside. So that's something that you want to kind of like, consider before you actually assembling it. Access for adjusting up and down. But yeah, so this bike right now has got a Denali SoundBomb horn. It's got the lights that I want, and it's got the B6. And the B6, I tell you, the B6 is overpowering the brake light. I mean, it's kind of, this is a 10%, okay? And when you mash the brakes, it goes up to 100%. So it's ridiculously bright. I don't think there'd be anybody, any problems seeing me from behind. Of course, I've got no codes because I reset the date. Once you disconnect the battery, you've got to reset the date or else you'll get that wrench icon. And yeah, everything is back to normal. If you found this video useful, give me a like, consider subscribing, share the video, leave a comment below. Did you install any additional lights on your bike, on your Triumph Tiger 900 Rally Pro, and or any other bike? This is my third bike where I installed auxiliary lights. Of course, my good old RS has got the D2s on it, and those D2s are pretty darn good. They're smaller. These lights here is I'm gonna have a ball riding in the night with this, I can tell. But yeah, and the what was it, DR1 on the tracer, that was another good success. So did you install any auxiliary lights on your bike? Just leave a comment. How did it go? Do you find the instructions good? One of the things I will say before I go on the ezCAN software, the instructions, I can understand putting it on the web because, you can blow up the pictures, see a little bit more detail, you can play a video or whatever, but they should at least make another PDF copy that you can download, because I find it much easier to download and to print off. I've got this printed off, and, it's much easier to refer to this. So, call me old school or whatever. I guess I'm old. I still prefer a paper copy. And even if you're going to have a web copy, have a paper copy as well. So anyway, that's it for now. See you in the next video. Stay safe, take care, and keep the shiny side up.